and welcome to Jeremy's Retro Bar. I'm Jeremy and this is my Retro Bar, and this month it's Sep Tandy, which means we are talking about Tandys. If you search YouTube, you're gonna find lots and lots of other creators that have also made Sep Tandy videos. For mine, I'm gonna be upgrading this Tandy 1000 EX, but of course first, we're gonna need to make ourselves a drink. So for this week's drink, we're gonna be making ourselves a French 75. We're gonna start with 1 ounce of gin. Then we're gonna add 1/2 ounce freshly squeezed lemon juice. Then we're gonna add 1/2 ounce simple syrup. Then we're gonna add some ice, and we're gonna shake that. Then we're gonna strain that into a champagne flute. Then we're gonna top that with 3 ounces of champagne or sparkling white wine. And for fun, we'll garnish with a lemon twist. And there you have a French 75. Cheers. These are so good. I really like French 75s, so if you haven't had one, definitely try it. All right, let's get to upgrading this Tandy. So the Tandy 1000 EX is one of 2 models of Tandy 1000 that were in this, I think they call it the wedge form factor, where the keyboard and the computer are all in one box. As a result, it's some of the hardest to upgrade. Now, I purchased some upgrades a while ago, and there have since come out some newer, nicer upgrades, but I've never gotten around to installing them. And one of the things that I wanted to do was to get these upgraded and installed, because I think this is gonna be the first replacement of the Octet, because everybody voted and they want classic systems. Well, everybody but one person. One person did like the reverse sleepers, so I'm probably gonna keep 1 or 2 of the reverse sleepers. I'm not quite sure where they're gonna go yet, but this is going to replace the Nuxt or the NUXT machine that I have, which is my 8088 machine, because Tandys were so good at being that early version of an IBM compatible. They had better sound, and a lot of games, and especially a lot of games that I played, took advantage of that better sound. And they had unique and interesting graphics modes that allowed a lot of versatility from a machine that was much more low cost. So I think it's a very good example of a machine of that era. So the only kind of disadvantage of it is the keyboard's a little spongy. It's not my favorite to type on. What we're gonna be doing today is installing this. So this is an adapter made by a guy named JDOS on Tandy, and this allows you to fit, it has a proprietary expansion bus inside of the Tandy EX and the HX, and this uses that proprietary adapter and then switches it so that it has 2 ISA card slots. So we're gonna use this to install an XTIDE from TexElec and a RAM expansion from TexElec. And I've already removed the slot cover because it's gonna need that to fit into this case. I'm also going to install this SmartWatch Plus by JDOS. So the same guy who makes this on Tandy also makes this guy on Tandy. That's just gonna allow us to have a real-time clock into this machine. And then, of course, the compact flash adapter, which will go with the XTIDE. So it's not the cleanest or the simplest way to do that, especially with this machine now, because there is a card that does all of this in one that has come out, but none were available at the time that I was getting around to prepping for this video, and I already had all of this stuff. So the nice thing is I'll actually be using the stuff that I already had to upgrade this machine, and later if they become available, I don't know, maybe I'll go ahead and use that and upgrade it. But for now, this is what I'm gonna do. So without any further ado, let's get started. All right, and the one crazy thing about this is it's mostly gonna be a toolless operation. So we're just gonna slide this card cover here, this expansion cover here. Oh, looks like whoever the previous owner was says Bandio. Whatever that's about. Anyway, that's kind of funny. All right, So the first thing to get this clock module installed is I'm gonna need to pull away this the shielding here, and it's kind of like a metal coated paper, so I think I can just take an X-Acto knife and actually cut this out, because once I put this in, this is not gonna fold back over, so I think it's okay to go ahead and remove it. So I'm just gonna try to make a slice here, and hopefully this works. There we go, yeah. Now, I could take the whole machine apart to get to this, but I just don't think it's necessarily worth all that extra effort just to remove the shielding, especially when it comes off so easily here. Okay, so this clock chip is just gonna plug right into this chip here, which is our BIOS chip. And so we're gonna pop the BIOS into this and pop this onto the BIOS chip, and then we should be good to go. Got our chip puller, which is kind of hard to get in this guy here. I have to do this. Oop. Very carefully, and I didn't do it very super carefully. Got some bent pins, but we should be able to get those straightened back out. Got that set up and installed. Man, that is hard to see though. All right, so our next thing is going to be our card adapter. And for this, I think I'm gonna put the RAM expansion on the bottom. Like I said, I've already removed the blanking plate, and I'm gonna put the XTIDE controller on the top. And we're gonna get our 5-volt power here. And I've got a fun little pass-through adapter, so that's gonna go there, and then go back into our 5 1/4 floppy. We'll tuck that out of the way for now, and then let's go ahead and put our card stack in here. This, it's a nice tight fit. It's going to go to our IDE to compact flash adapter. And then unfortunately, I need a ribbon cable, and this is the smallest one I have, so I know they have them where they're integrated and like there's much cleaner XTIDE interfaces, but this is the one that I had, and that's what we're going with here for this Tandy today. So go ahead and do that. And yeah, we can get this to fit in here. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some electrical tape and put on the back of this just so that it's not hitting up against anything, and then I can just shove it pretty safely right under there. So I'll be right back. All right, that should be safer. And I'm just gonna throw that in here. It's down there too, but I don't want it to put too too much pressure on that. So I'm just trying to get all that tucked away nicely. The new card that pops in is so much nicer, but again, I already purchased these and I didn't want to waste what I had purchased, so well. Okay, and that's it. That should be it for the upgrades. Let's go ahead and change our setup. Let's plug it into this monitor here and see what we can get going on it. All right, moment of truth. I'm gonna turn it on, and our adapter is working because it shows that we have 640K of RAM. And hopefully next it detects our XTIDE. And it does, and I'm going to tell it to boot from the A drive because I haven't set up the compact flash card yet. Cool, and I actually have to put in another disk. And I'm going to run fdisk /MBR. And just double check. Yeah, nothing's there. So we're going to go ahead and create a DOS partition. Primary, using the maximum size possible. And now it's going to restart. So I'm going to go back to my boot disk and let it restart. And again, we're going to boot to our A drive by just hitting the letter A here for the XTIDE. And you can see it's Tandy DOS. I'm not going to set our clock yet. And now I'm just going to go format C:/S. So that's going to format the C drive and it's going to copy all the system files over to it. And yes, I know it's going to be lost. So we can see here it's just going to format, and then when it's done, it's going to copy over our system files. Format complete. Cool, and so now I should be able to go to the C drive and do a directory, and it shows command.com shows up, so it did copy those system files over. I'm gonna go back to A, I'm gonna do a make directory, C:\DOS, and I'm gonna copy everything to C:\DOS. Cool. Just gonna double check to make sure there's no subdirectories there. Nope. Okay, cool. And we're gonna swap out this disk and do another disk, which is, disk 2 of DOS 3. All right, copy A:, start to C:\DOS. There we go. Cool. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and remove all disks, and let's do a Control-Alt-Delete to reboot and make sure that this boots up. And this should be booting from the compact flash card now at this time. So it sees it, it's booting, and it boots. And cool, so that's all set up. Now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and remove this compact flash, pop it into a newer computer, copy a bunch of other files and programs and games and apps, and then we can try some things out. So I'll be right back. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and set our smartwatch. I have put a battery in since the installation, so everything should be set up and ready to go. So let's go ahead and do our date first. our time. Okay, so now that we've set our date and time, we're gonna run so from the page for the Tandy 1000 SmartWatch Plus, there's a download link to get a utility, and I've gone ahead and put that utility here on the compact flash card or on our C drive, and we're gonna run that, and it's going to write the date and time to the clock chip. So we're gonna start with it. So it's SMW clock C. Okay, so it went ahead and wrote that to the clock. So to load this, we need to edit our autoexec bat file. And since we're on DOS 3, we don't have edit, we have edlin, and I am not super familiar with edlin, so let me look up my commands here. Let's see how we can do this. Okay, so I'm gonna actually try something. Okay, so then I'm just gonna say, okay, and then hopefully we can get out of here. So Alt F, quit deskmate. Cool, and yeah, okay. So then we're just gonna copy that. To C : /. Cool. Okay. So now we're in our root, and I'm just gonna go ahead and try our Control Alt and Delete and restart this. Let's use our drive. Booting, boots to it. Sets the date and time. 1921 though. Oh well, it might be the version of DOS that we're on. That's interesting, but fun. So yeah, I probably need a later version of DOS that's more Y2K compliant, but it does set our date and time and it remembers it, and I don't have to type that when I start it up. So that is excellent. So now, let's try some things out. So here I have an original copy of King's Quest III, and I want to test that out because these are the early Sierra games that only supported extra sound if you were on a Tandy or PC Junior. And I just kind of want to see what that sounds like. So should just be able to start it up here and we can listen. Okay, got it. Notice a weird spot on the monitor right here. Does look like we're getting our reds. Oh yeah, check that out. Yeah, you can hear the extra tones playing at once. It's a little less PC beeper. Has a little bit more warmer tones to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at some other games and see how the audio is better or different here on the Tandy. So this one's just gonna be the original Space Quest. Well, there you have it. That's my Tandy video. It's a pretty quick and easy upgrade of putting in a clock and adding the card for extra memory and for the XTIDE, enabling us to have a hard drive, which was unheard of in this type of machine, you know, mostly just being run off floppies. So very cool upgrades, very neat. Now, it did expose some issues and some future things that I might need to do to this machine. One is that I couldn't get this joystick to work when I tried plugging it in and trying it with different things. It didn't seem to work, and I don't think there's much with the joystick itself, so I think there might be something on the board itself that's making the joystick not work. Also, I tried a printer and had issues with that, even seeing the printer. So there might be benefits to trying to do a full recap. Floppy works great, and obviously monitor might need a little bit of work too. There's that one weird spot on that. So I'm gonna see if there's a way to troubleshoot that or a way to fix that, or if it's something that it's just burnt out and I might need to replace it. So, which would be a bummer because CRTs are getting harder and harder to find these days. But overall, I'm very impressed with the Tandy sound. The music on Space Quest alone just blew me away. I've never heard it that good before. It's always just been the PC speaker version. And yeah, I'm just very impressed with that. So that automatically lets me know that this does belong to be out here on display and used, because it does have a more robust version of music for a PC that just wasn't available for any other machines at that time. So anyway, it's very, very cool that Tandy was able to do that, and obviously it took until AdLib came out to really improve PC sound and make them really good. Great machine, never had a Tandy back in the day, and so it was just kind of fun to play around with and see, and you know, got their cool little DeskMate software and all of this stuff. But yeah, pretty simple video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.